All right. So, as we normally do, I just want to acknowledge a few milestones before we talk through a few issues. We've had a first Division 1 game on the boundary last weekend, Brett Heritage. Couple of young goal umpires doing their first Division 1 this week, Ethan and Alex Scarman. So, what on to you guys? 50th game in the goals, Michael Reid, and in the field, Darren Hollingsworth. And 100th game in the field, Alex Manning. And a 200th game. He seems too young to have a 200th game, but Liam Binning. So well done to you guys. Enjoy your milestone games this weekend. It's come to that time of year where we're going to have an umpire appreciation round. Coincides with the AFL's Community Umpiring Week. We're fortunate enough to have some AFL umpires joining us at training this Wednesday night. So I encourage you all to come along to training this week. Craig Flair, Lee Housen and Lenny Glooftus, the field umpires that will be attending. We've got one AFL boundary umpire, that's Chris Bull. And unfortunately, the goal umpires had their own commitments at their normal training. So we've got the field umpires and the boundary umpire coming along this Wednesday night, and they'll be there to, meet you guys and have a chat, and you can answer any questions, ask them any questions you might have. Umpires Association is going to be organising a barbecue after training. So bring along $5, we'll get you some food and a drink. And AFL guys are going to hang back after training and meet up with all of you guys. So it should be a good night's training this Wednesday night. We had a fairly nasty incident in a B grade game on the weekend. Unfortunately, the two officiating umpires didn't see it. Fortunately, the A grade umpire did. And so it was good that he saw that and that he contacted me later to discuss it, and we were able to lay the report without having the club to lay a complaint. So that was good that he was there watching on. The only thing that he wasn't aware of, which I just need to remind you guys of, is if you are at a game, it doesn't matter if you are appointed to that game or not, you are an official of the league and you are entitled to report any player that does. We obviously want it to be something fairly significant that the officiating umpires don't pick up on. But if you something, a decent hit or whatever it might be that needs a red card, at the next break in play, just make your way out and let the officiating umpires know that you want to take action. In most cases, they can issue a red card so the player doesn't play any more of the game, that the team does play a player short. Just keep that in mind. If you're watching a game, you do have that ability to report. So just to remind everyone about that. Now, we had another couple of interesting scenarios on the weekend with yellow cards. And it is the right thing to do to, whenever you're issuing a yellow or red card, make a note yourself of the number of the players that you're sending off. Don't just rely on the interchange steward to do it for you. It's important that you take note of it, because what happened on the weekend is the guys that had about 5 yellow cards in the first half of their B grade game just relied on the interchange steward to write down all the numbers. And of course, the interchange steward didn't do their job. So the umpires did let me know about it afterwards. We did track down the players that were sent off, but if you aren't taking a note of the numbers that of the players you're sending off, and you're not going to be having that problem. It's also, we had an issue on the weekend where one player got 2 yellow cards, and so they're going to get a week's holiday this week, which is the standard procedure. But again, if you're taking note of the number of the players you're sending off, you should pick up on the fact that if one player is getting 2 yellow cards, and what happens in the case of 2 yellow cards in a game, that second yellow card becomes a red card. The team plays a player short, and the player sent off the rest of the game. So in this case, it wasn't picked up that the player had got 2 yellow cards until later on. And so, yeah, that didn't quite happen as it should. But again, if you're taking note of the numbers, you should be across that if that occurs. But yeah, if you do pick up on it, the players sent off the rest of the game, issued a red card, and the team plays a player short.
Only for 10 minutes, Colin. After 10 minutes,
Right,
the red
yes,
card.
so that's right, Barry. That's what I meant to say. So yes, the team only plays a player short for 10 minutes, but the player's off for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Correct. What would I do with that, Barry? So I just want to remind you, I get a sense that I'm getting feedback from games that we're getting different interpretations of holding the ball. If you are unclear in any way, shape or form, make sure you go back and watch the interpretations video. The bit that we're getting inconsistency in is some umpires are reluctant to penalise the player that's on the ground and takes possession. If they take possession when they're on the ground and the pack develops, then we need to pay holding the ball. That's unless there's multiple hands on the ball. So if there's another player's hands on the ball, or if they get hold of the ball and they stand up, you can if there's no prior opportunity, just do a ball up. But if they're on the ground, we want them to knock it clear. We don't want them to fall to ground to start with. We want them to keep their feet. But if they are on the ground and they choose to take possession and they cause the ball up, make sure you pay it to early on the game. It sets the standard. It makes a huge difference to the amount of stoppages in a game. And if we don't have the guts to pay those free kicks early on, you're going to have a lot more stoppages and there's inconsistency between games. And yeah, I did have that feedback on the week. I'm actually hoping to go and analyse the game I heard about on the weekend and just see whether that was the case. But my gut feel is we are getting inconsistencies, and the stronger decision makers in the group are getting it right, and those that are just finding it easier just to ball it up are not making the right call. So again, if you're unclear, go back to the interpretations video and review the guidelines there. Okay, I say this every year, and it's amazing when I get an issue with a coach saying something to umpires, or something where the umpires aren't happy with the coach. It's amazing how many times in those situations the umpires haven't done as asked and gone and actually met the coaches before a game. It is an expectation that every umpire for every game meets the coaches before the game commences. It's the only chance the coaches have to meet you. Even if it's just a small chat, a g'day, how you going? It just humanises you a bit more. And if you haven't met them, it makes a difference. So whether you have back-to-back games, still no excuse. There is no excuse for not meeting both coaches before a game. So I don't want to have to keep saying it. I get cranky when I hear it that umpires aren't doing it. It is something that we must be doing. Okay, something that has happened every year for the last few years, it's been very well accepted, is John Kernahan's kindly offered a table for Adelaide Footy League umpires to attend an upcoming Carbine Club luncheon. So 10 umpires can attend on, yeah, very kindly put forward from John Kernahan. I'll put it in the coaching notes, but email me if you want to take up the offer. If you have been before, you'll be sort of second choice. It'll be preference given to those that haven't been. But it's on Friday, May the 20th in the Adelaide Cup Room at Moorfield Racecourse. Guest speakers Glenn Boss and Terra McAuliffe with the MC, so I'm sure it'll be a great afternoon. And yeah, just email me if you want to attend. All right, we've got a coaching video this week. I did put it on the website this morning, so if you knew that that was occurring, you would have checked it out and had a chance to look at it. But just a reminder that I'll be updating the website each week if you want to have a look at it. And so let's see. Okay, it's getting it up. Okay, this is where my computer was freezing a little bit before, so let's hopefully it works. The coaching video is titled Contest of the Ball. This is put together by Shane Harris. The sample umpires use it, and there's some good clips to have a look at here. So it starts out with a few what's your decisions. Have a look at the first one. All right. Bo, you want to unmute yourself, mate, and let us know what you think of that one?
Yeah, a bit laggy, but just looked like as soon as they got rid of the ball, handballed the ball away, sort of got thrown to the ground afterwards.
Yep, spot on, mate. That's right. So it was a holding the man free kick. The ball had clearly been handballed away, and the tackle lasted too long and took the play to ground. So just keeping your eyes on the last act of play meant that we're able to pick up that free kick. All right, example number 2.
Just about a sling tackle there, Cole.
Yeah.
Just about a sling tackle there.
Let's have a look. Yeah, you'd probably in that case want to be having a word to him. There's not a severe sling to the ground where the head looks like it's going to be in any danger. But I see what you're saying. It's worthy of. I mean, you're paying the free kick anyway. It's worthy of a chat for sure.
Excuse me, Colin.
Yep.
Example number 1. I thought it was a ruck infringement.
Okay, so who's that speaking?
It's Darren Hollingworth.
Darren, let's have a look. He doesn't. Yes, the arm comes out, but he doesn't actually block the other ruckman's run.
I thought he went over the line.
Yeah, but if you go over the line,
Yep.
you're only paying a free kick if you are stopping the other ruckman from contesting the ball.
Yeah, and I thought he did that. That's all.
Yeah, if you judge that, yeah, you got to remember that there's. Oh, I haven't looked at it for the 3rd time or 4th time. You got bouncing here, so it does make it. At the end of the day, I reckon the ruck contest actually occurs right on the line. I wouldn't be paying a free kick, but I can see what you're looking at. I think it needs to be a little bit more obvious before we pay that.
Yeah, no, I just wanted clarity on that. That's all. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I can see why you're looking at that. I think at the end of the day, the 2 ruckmen are standing on the line when the contest occurs. And yeah, definitely the free kicks for holding on. Okay, let's go on to example number 2. All right.
It's not the best footage.
Will Rob McKay, you want to have a go at that one?
Oh yeah, he dove on the footy, and then got tackled legally. Did not dispose, holding the ball.
That's Rob Kane. Thanks, Rob. We've got multiple Robs.
I was going to say just what he said.
I'll get Rob McKay to do the next one. But Rob, you got it right. So yes, this is more obvious than the ones I'm saying we aren't getting at the moment. But yeah, at the end of the day, he causes that ball up by diving on it, and there's a delay of the whistle. The ball doesn't come out, so a free kick. So well done, Rob number 1. Rob number 2, Rob McKay, example number 3. You got the more challenging one, mate. Do you want to have a go at that?
I do prefer to play holding the ball because it tends to keep the game moving, but that could have gone either way based on the jumpy footage I saw.
Yeah, so he does land alongside him, so it's not in the back. I would be paying and holding the ball either for dropping the ball, or you could say he's had a chance to handball or kick before, or handball perhaps before. It's not much of a prior opportunity, but enough to pay holding the ball. So yeah, holding the ball is the decision I was looking for there. Example number 4. Now this is an interesting one. Paul Smith, do you want to have a go at that one?
Can I see it again, please, Colin? I'm looking at a small screen.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe
I'll
phone a
give you
friend.
that. You don't get to see it second time on game day. But,
No, of course not. Oh, it's holding the ball. He got his hands free above the pack and didn't dispose of the footy.
yeah,
Holding the ball.
yeah. So there's no genuine attempt there to get rid of the ball. The moment you see the hands above the head with the ball in it, there's your pro opportunity. He's just putting his hands up without actually trying to get the handball away. So yes, no genuine attempt holding the ball. And the last example. All right, Matt Smith.
Sort of in transit, Cole, but
Mate, it didn't stop you sending me an email the moment I mentioned Carbine Club and wanting to go to the Carbine Club.
You got to get in quick, don't you?
Mate, quick off the mark.
I reckon from what I saw, it was in the back. Player was in front. Guy pushed him from behind. So free kick to that player.
Yes, you are a strong decision maker, Matt, and that's correct. It can be a hard one to judge because if both players are going for the ball, then you can call play on. But if there's two actions, there's the push out and then the player behind goes to the ball, then it's a free kick. So yeah, free kick in that situation. I'll run through the rest. Again, you can watch the link. I'll put it in the coaching notes, but if you want to get a better look at it, if it's not coming out that clear on the Zoom, have a look at it later on. So some examples for contest for the ball. Some good messaging here from Shane, except just acknowledge the fact that his spelling isn't his greatest asset. He's a fantastic umpires coach, but it must protect the ball, not protest the ball. Ball player by paying the first obvious free. It just lands on the back of the South Adelaide player. Most of our free kicks go towards the ball player, even though we pay a lot more holding the balls these days. The majority of free kicks still go to the player, being the ball player. So in this situation here, he hasn't got possession of the ball, the Port Adelaide player, and is tackled not in possession. Can we see the ball player's head and shoulders? If you don't, you need to move. That's a good thing to have in your mind the whole time. That's an obvious and blatant free kick. And if you're not on the right angle and miss that, that's when we have trouble. So yes, if you can't see the ball player's head and shoulders, you have to sprint fast to be able to get in a better position. Just reacting to what happens with the decision making. Just let it unfold. And then in that case, the tackle continues when the player doesn't have the ball at all and takes him to the ground. It's similar to the one we looked at before with the sling. Hold the whistle and let the play unfold, so don't go looking for free kicks. The free kicks will stand out when they're there. So in that instance, again, hasn't got possession of the ball and holding the man. Erring the side of the ball player is one of our philosophies. So 50-50 calls go in favour of the ball player. There's a push in the back there that North Adelaide player receives. Even if he wants to throw his hands in the air and make it look like a bit worse than it was there. Again, 50-50 calls go to the ball player. And arm over the shoulder. again, being in a position to see those free kicks is the key. Staying 20, 25 metres away silent of the contest and not standing still. 50-50 calls go to the ball player. So you could say that perhaps he may have had somewhat possession in there, but he didn't really control it. So a free kick for holding on. Consistent decision making is just reacting to what happens and sticking to our team rules. And that's tonight's coaching video. Any questions or comments on any of that? Anything anyone want to raise from the weekend just been?
Colin,
Yeah, mate.
that double yellow you were talking about before, I'm assuming that's the one from the game that Marek and I did on the weekend, yeah?
So say again.
That double yellow you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's from the game that Marek and I did on the weekend, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about if the second yellow is a dangerous tackle? Are we just patting that as straight away as a red, or because that's what
it doesn't matter what the offence is. Two yellow cards equal a red card. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, cool.
Because even if we didn't upgrade it to a red card, the dangerous tackle, 2 yellows still equals a 1-week suspension.
Yeah, cool.
I know Gory was at the game and he wasn't able to join the Zoom at the start. Gory, are you there now? I did see your name pop up before. No, maybe he's gone again. That's cool. Anyone else about anything that happened on the weekend?
Yeah, Cole, we had an interesting one, Hope Valley, Portland. Right at the end of the game, the scores apparently were tied. Not that we know as umpires, we just do the game. Anyway, there was a long kick in from the forward pocket. The ball went towards the points. I heard the siren, blew time on, and then one of the Hope Valley players after the siren actually hit it through for a point. Been an interesting bit of footage. Asked the goal umpire, he was from Portland and he was pretty biased, but luckily Adam Forster, the other umpire, came up and pretty clearly said, yep, Schmitty, I reckon you're right. It was definitely, I heard the siren before the hit. So the ruling was no score. Much to the Hope Valley players and spectators' disappointment. But an interesting side note, watching the footage, it backs up what we did. But that's my third decision on the quarter time or siren in 2 weeks. I've never had one in 300 games, and I've had 3 out of the last 8 quarters of footy. Really interesting, but really good one, and just interesting because obviously if the ball went through, it would have been a point, but as soon as a player knocked it, obviously that's moving from there, the last act. So just wanted to share that one.
So it was the player that knocked it through was the attacking team, is what you're saying? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what happens if it's the defending team that does that? I know the answer. I'm wanting to see what would you do in that scenario.
Oh, look, Cole, I've had 3 tough decisions, so I might let one of the other umpires have a say, I reckon.
Come on, Matty. You were there. Come on, Matt, answer it.
So if there's a marking contest and obviously the kick, if it's kicked before the siren, it's going through, it counts as a point unless someone from the attacking team has knocked it through. You're saying it was in general play. We have to go and have a look at the video.
Yeah, so the ball was kicked, the siren went, and literally there's only a couple of seconds in between the siren and the incident. But yeah, it was clearly knocked through. So in that case, good video to show at another time, Cole, of the right decision, and also the teamwork of Adam coming in, just chatting to the other umpire as well. I think that's probably a takeaway from my
cool. So the answer to the question I gave you is if there's a kick, then the siren goes, and the defending side hits it through, it would be all clear for a point. Yeah, because the attacking team hit it through, you did the right thing and not give the all clear. Yeah. Nice one. Well done. I think, it's on Dartfish. If anyone wants to go have a look at that vision, feel free.
Cole, Shane here. What if it's just off hands, but off the attacking player's hands, attempting a mark? Not attempting to knock it through.
That's still all clear. It's if it's deliberately knocked through.
It has to be a deliberate attempt to knock it through or to assist it.
If it's punched through by the attacking team, if it's punched through, then you would, they're deliberately trying to get a score, basically. It doesn't count. Yeah. Blue moon it, for sure. Anyone else with anything from the weekend? We did have some dangerous tackles again on the weekend. It needs to be a focus for everyone. Stefan Cedarblad did it really well in his Div 1 game, issued a yellow card, contacted me after the game. It was analysed and it was decided that it would stay a yellow card, but he handled it really, really well. We're not getting all the dangerous tackles though, and so it's just something that needs to be front of mind for you all. So we've got some players there that still aren't showing due care in the tackling process, and we need to be on our guard for those situations. Anyone else?
Yeah, Colin, it's Matthew Jakes calling. That incident I spoke to you about Saturday afternoon about the possible racial vilification.
Yeah.
Should I have paid a free kick or card at all?
If you feel like it's a volatile situation, which it wasn't because the player clearly wasn't offended, you can issue a yellow. It's meant to be a whole confidential process, so I wouldn't be going around telling everyone I'm sending him off because of a racial comment. You just issue the yellow card, get him off, let him cool down. I think what you did well, Matt, was you just let everyone know that you weren't going to let the league know about it.
Yeah.
And that's the process. So the process is to just put it in an email to me, which I then forward to the office. In this case, I'm not sure too much is going to come of it because there wasn't any offence taken, but that's the process where the mediation occurs. Unusual one because the person that said it was from the same ethnic group as the person he said it to. So
Correct.
yeah, but you did the right thing, mate. You didn't ignore it. You heard it. You said you'd let the league know about it. And we've done our job, and now it's the league and the clubs to sort it out.
Yeah, I sort of just wasn't sure whether I should have paid a free kick or not.
No,
which I never.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. Wouldn't necessarily worry about having to pay a free kick in that scenario. If there's some angst and you think a yellow card's appropriate, well, you always need to pay a free kick when you give a yellow. So in those situations, you can. It depends on the circumstance. I think what you did was perfectly fine.
All right, thanks, Cole.
All right, the time limit's about to run out. Any last question before we finish up? All right, thanks, guys. This Wednesday night's going to be a good training with the AdFL umpires coming out and the barbecue afterwards. So hope to see plenty of you this Wednesday night.